What's going on?
So another one in the book, sir.
One more of those in the bag.
How many have you done, do you think, over the top of your head? Like if you had to...
Probably done 40 or something of these.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
We were doing the math the other day, and I think we were thinking, because mixed with the big events and the regular classes that we have here, we think we probably put about 4,000 people in ice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. What got you into like the Wim Hof method? Like,
well, for the longest time I've been into meditation, martial arts, yoga, through my Budokan studies, and I wanted to find something that was simpler. I always wanted something that was simpler. I felt that even though I loved everything that I always did and continue to do it and continue to love it, I felt that it was just too complicated sometimes, or sometimes it required too many things. You know what I mean? Like sometimes when I think like how complicated it used to be to go to martial arts class, like get the gi and get the go and go to the mats and make sure that everything is. And now this, you just breathe and get cold and that's it. So for me, many times people have mentioned the Wim Hof method, but I kind of blew it off like, it's just another thing that people are doing now, sure. Because I was so focused on what I was doing. Until one time a friend of mine invited me to go to Poland to train with Wim. And then for some weird turn of events, I ended up not going, but he did. And when he came back, he actually told me, he's like, look, the Wim Hof method is fine, and Wim is an amazing guy, but you're gonna love teaching this.
wow.
Because he knows I love teaching. I love learning and teaching everything that I learn. So he said, if you learn this, you're gonna get to teach this and you're gonna love it because of all the science that's behind it, because I'm an engineer.
Right.
So for me, I'm very interested in science, very interested in the mechanisms of things. And from my wellness background, from my movement training, I'm very curious about how the body works and what you can make it do, how to fix it, as a martial artist, you learn how to break it, of course. So for me, Wim Hof was this one thing that kind of blended all those together, but in a very simple and effective, like feel it day one thing.
So you experienced the Wim Hof method and literally went right into instructor mode.
Right into instructor mode, yes. It was interesting because when my friend came back and he told me that, I was like, wow, this is interesting. Well, of course, I first need to feel it.
Right.
And I went to a workshop which happened like the weekend after my friend told me that. And the workshop, it was a workshop just like the one that we did today, a Wim Hof Method Fundamentals course, and where you learn the breath work, and then where you experience the ice baths for the first time, for most people. And man, when I got in the ice, it was funny because I got in the ice with my wife.
Okay.
And I got in, and man, there's this tough black belt competition guy that trains MMA fighters and all this stuff. And when I got in the ice, I felt completely out of control.
Wow.
I felt like I could not move. Everything just came up. And I look over to the side, and there's my wife in the other ice, and she's like, And I was like, what's going on? And then I realized that there was so much that I could learn from this. Because it doesn't matter what I realized, it doesn't matter how good you are at what you already do. A new thing will challenge you in new ways. And I noticed that I always kind of avoided the cold and didn't like it. I used to live in Boston, moved out of there because it was too cold and I didn't enjoy it. And now, man, I travel pretty much exclusively to places with the snow. You know what I mean?
That's amazing. That's amazing. So just to get some context here, to summarize, what exactly is the Wim Hof method?
The Wim Hof method is a mix of breathwork techniques, exposure to the cold in different forms. You can do cold showers, you can do ice baths, you can jump in a river, you can jump in a lake, as long as they're cold.
Right.
Cold showers. And then mindset training. So that's actually the most important part of the Wim Hof method, because that's the part that translates to your daily life, right? This repetition of these tough breathing exercises and this challenging ice baths, as you do them regularly, you start realizing that you can do a lot more than you think you can.
Wow.
And that is a way of thinking that is just it just unlocks your potential in everything else that you do.
Absolutely.
Makes sense?
Absolutely. And you mentioned 4,000 people. That's impressive. When did you figure out?
I think so. I mean, that's kind of the last count.
When you heard that number, were you like blown away or?
Well, yeah, because we did the math. I was like, no way we did that many. But we've done events where we put in 400 people at a time, right?
Yeah.
So I think the events that we met,
yeah, exactly.
we put 450 people in the ice that day.
Yeah.
And then I've done events where we put in about 200 people. I've done a few of those. And then we do a lot of corporate events. So, like a whole company will come in and there's like 50.
Wow.
And then, I weekly I put about 60 people in the ice with our 3 classes that we do here. And then when we do the fundamentals courses like today, we do 50, 60 people. So as they keep adding up, it's awesome, man. And for me, it's not only how many people we put in, but how many people come back.
Right, stay
consistent. Come back to it, stay consistent,
right.
Or come visit. Because a lot of the people that I've trained here in Miami don't live in Miami. A lot of the people that I've trained live in places where it's cold.
Wow.
And some randomness happens that they come to learn how to get cold in Miami.
That's amazing.
It's just silly, but I love it.
And what are some of the miracles you can remember, testimonies of people that have come through?
Man,
give me a couple of examples of something that's...
What happens, the Wim Hof method is all about science, right? It's all about making sure that we don't make any claims that are not scientifically proven. But this intention comes because there were so many testimonials, so many accounts of people recovering from different conditions that the science couldn't just ignore it anymore. And most scientists that got involved with the Wim Hof method at the beginning were more interested in disproving it than in proving it.
That's amazing.
And in the process, they proved it.
Right. Thank you for the extra work.
Yes, so that's great.
Yeah.
So thank you to Wim for being so resilient and so convinced of what he felt to be true when everyone else was telling him that he was crazy, that humans can't control their immune systems, that humans can't regulate their hormones, that you cannot look inside and find answers, and that there's always something from the outside coming to get it, right?
Wow.
Or that you can't cure these diseases just by being back in nature.
Wow.
Locally, in our club, we have people recovering from autoimmune diseases, so Crohn's, from axial spondylitis, which is a really gnarly condition, from Hashimoto's, not curing, but living symptom-free.
Wow.
We also have a lot of people with chronic pain. One of my really close friends had chronic arthritis, and he got it when he was 14 years old.
Wow.
So in both of his hips, so he found a lot of relief in that. We have one of our good members that is very regular to our classes. Him and his wife could not get pregnant. And he's like, I've tried everything and we're going to give up, but I just want to know if this is going to make it worse. And I was like, well, look, you're already not doing it.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to hurt it. And a month after he started, they got pregnant. Wow. So super cool, man. It's super fun, right? Yeah. So I have a few people that have these conditions that train with me remotely because they don't live in Miami. Mm-hmm. So I usually get them a similar setup to what we have here in the Miami Ice Club with the freezer so that they can practice regular cold exposure. We do have a lot of people recovering not from physical conditions, but more from anxiety, depression, PTSD, bipolar disorder, from all these different mental health conditions that I almost feel like right now this is even a bigger concern, man, because right now we've been going through so much stress in our lives and people are so separated and we're missing all that human contact that really keeps us together, right. You know, especially with young people that are spending a lot of the time at home, locked up. So it's a really important time for this practice, not so much for the immunity boosting, which of course is great during these times, but I think more than anything what it does to give you back control of your mind.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's really not only the ice, it's the breath work prior, that really brings peace and, helps with the mental health aspect.
Oh yeah, man. Look, I'll tell you what, I'll skip an ice bath, but I won't skip a breath work session,
Right.
It's the breath work. Once you get into the method, everyone comes in for the ice, but everyone that stays for the breath work. Because it's honestly life-changing. Because of course, the ice is something that's external to you, right? I mean, you get in the ice, and the ice gets you cold, and you feel it. But the breathing, that's you.
Right.
You know, you can only breathe oxygen yourself. Right? I can push you into a lake, you know, but I can't force you to breathe.
Right.
So the breath work really gives you back a very reassuring and empowering feeling that it doesn't matter how much things get out of hand. If I get control of my breath, I'm fine.
Got it. I bet you get this question often.
Am I single? No, I'm not.
With relationship to meditation and the breath work you do here.
Yes.
Do you get that often?
Yes.
Okay. You want to just.
What's the question now?
Well, the question is, I already meditate. I breathe all the time.
Oh, yeah.
How is this going to be beneficial? How do I incorporate it?
Well, first of all, Wim Hof method is not a meditation.
Correct.
Okay. Now people call all kinds of things meditation.
Right.
They're not. Meditation is you sit down and you shut the fuck up and you don't do anything and you just watch.
Right.
And that's meditating.
Got it.
Anything else is pretending to meditate while you're also doing some other thing. Right. Of course, there's different schools of meditation that have different opinions on that. I come from a very traditional Zen Japanese meditation school where you sit down, you don't move, and you just be there. If you move, you get the stick.
Right.
So for me, it's like meditation is just do nothing. That's also called relaxation, sitting down and doing nothing. Right. But because we're so used to doing things, people are always going to sit down and not think, but think of this. It's like, you know, if you're thinking, you're thinking.
Right.
Which is cool.
Right.
Thinking is cool.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with thinking. Meditation is just sitting there and watching your thoughts, not engaging into them. Wim Hof has nothing to do with that.
Right.
Wim Hof is about breathing, right? And about being in the ice. Now, when you're in the ice, you'll notice thoughts come up like, I gotta get out, I'm gonna die, this is the worst thing that ever happened in my life. Or maybe you're super comfortable, you're like, this is amazing. Those are all thoughts that you can watch. So with a meditative mindset, you can enjoy some meditative aspects of being alive while you're doing that. You know, meditation can happen. Meditation happens anytime that you're contemplating what's going on.
Right.
And then there's formal meditation practice, which is sitting down and doing that. So there's opportunities for mindfulness here in this practice, but that's not necessarily the intention. The intention is not to create a meditative state. It's not to change the brain waves and to get you into theta, which is where meditation really happens. But it's definitely a mindful practice.
Absolutely.
A practice that makes you aware of your thoughts and your personal level of association with your thoughts. And I know you like to talk a lot about that, about this is you and this is your thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So you'll notice yourself, you'll notice your brain calling you certain things that have nothing to do with who you really are.
Right.
So the eyes helps you with that. And the breath definitely helps you with that, because I tell you what, I do breath work.
Right.
And then I sit down to meditate. Okay. Because the breath work inevitably clears your mind, because it slows down your prefrontal lobes, which is where most of the noise comes from. The noise that gets in the way of your meditative practice comes from your prefrontal lobes. And the breath work slows that down.
Right.
So if you do the breath work first, right, and then you sit down to meditate, you're going to go right in.
Absolutely.
So it's almost like you skip 20 minutes of meditation.
Absolutely.
So when people ask me, it's like, is this meditation? No, but it'll support a meditation practice.
Right, it'll boost your meditation practices.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's helped mine.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it can help anyone's, but it is not the same. And breath work is a very big, breath work is like saying working out. If you work out, how do you work out? What do you do? Do you do bodyweight training? Do you do weights? Do you run? Do you do CrossFit? Do you do martial arts? What do you do? So breath work is the same. There's many different schools of breath work. They're all amazing, honestly, but they all have a different reason for existing, because they have a different objective. Some of them are more therapeutic, so they're more geared towards treating certain ailments or conditions. Some of them are more performance oriented, so they're breath work to unlock performance potential. And then there's other ones that are more for having journeys, for having emotional releases, or for having mental journeys,
right,
or for going somewhere else inside of you. And those are all great, right, if that's what you want to get out of your practice.
Got it.
Wim Hof, it's about creating a certain hormonal release that allows you to kill inflammation and allows you to support the proper energy delivery to your autonomic nervous system, to your immune system. So you create a surplus of energy so that you can serve these different systems that are within you that need energy, and we don't give it enough because we don't rest properly, we don't eat properly, because we stress too much. So this kind of forces you to get what you need.
Right.
Like what I like about this practice, I don't care what you do and how bad you treat yourself, this practice is gonna help.
Absolutely.
And as long as you do the practice, you're gonna be taken care of. Of course, if you hurt yourself enough, there's no miracles that can happen, right? But this thing will restore you to your natural state. And that's what I love about it.
Got it. Awesome. Speaking of South Florida, how many people leave the cold to move to South
Yes.
Florida, right? And if you live in South Florida or anywhere in a climate that's hot, we don't get access, or we don't have a lot of time where it's cold. So we're missing out, would you say, on that cold exposure on a routine basis, right? So like that's really what you're trying to solve down here, is bringing ice so people can
Right.
get that cold exposure for the health benefits that it brings, right?
Yeah, exactly. The creation of the Miami Ice Club was because my students were coming to my house to use my freezer too often.
Got it.
Right?
Wow.
So they didn't have a place to
Find
get
a
cold.
problem and solve
So
it.
I was like, all right, let's just, well, my wife was like, dude, you got to do something about this. We can't have people just coming to the house that whole time. So I said, okay, cool. We'll create the Ice Club. And the Ice Club is people getting together 3 times a week.
Got it.
To do guided breath work. Because also when you do breath work with a teacher, with a guide, you go further.
Absolutely.
You go way deeper.
Yeah.
Because when you're breathing on your own, sometimes you get a little too comfortable, sometimes you forget. It happens to me too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, and you just fall asleep.
Right.
But when you're training with me, I'm like, breathe. And you're like, oh, fuck, I forgot.
Absolutely.
Like, now I remember. So you breathe. So we do guided breath work, which is very powerful. And then we do supervised ice baths.
Okay.
Which is great too, because you are there surrounded by people that can keep you safe too,
Yeah.
right? So we have this freezer set up that keeps the water between 26 and 38 degrees. So we have real cold water ready for people to enjoy and to practice a cold exposure. As you keep coming to class, I keep guiding you in your own cold exposure journey. So you start with 2 minutes, and then we work your way up to more time or different exercises that create a more intense experience. But it's not so much about how much time you spend in there, it's how much time you spend in there calm.
So can you elaborate on that? So if somebody what can somebody expect? And they've never been to one of your programs. What can they expect on the next one that you put together?
Oh, cool. So if you come to the Wim Hof Fundamentals, you get 5 hours of information, science, physiology. You learn the breath work, you learn breathing mechanics, and then you do the ice bath.
Got it.
And we laugh and we have fun and
Yeah.
we crack jokes. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
We have a good time because it's 5 hours, man. We
Right.
got to make it fun.
Right, you definitely do.
Thank you.
Fun,
We got to make it interesting. But then when you come to regular class,
Okay.
if you can't wait till the next fundamentals course or you're not in town, you can come and do what we call the intro course, which is 2 classes where you come in to try the Miami Ice Club. You come on a Friday at 6 p.m. and we do a little short introduction of what's going to happen. I explain to you the breath work. You do 1 breath work session, which lasts about 25 minutes. You do it with the group. You do it with the same group as all the Ice Club members.
Right.
So you're going to be with 30 people doing the breath work, trying to kind of keep up with the class, right? And then you're going to get supported in the breath work. Then we're going to make sure that you did good and how you feeling. And then we take you to the ice bath part. So we teach you how to warm your body up.
Right.
We teach you how to be in an ice bath. And then we teach you how to warm your body back up once you get out of the ice bath. And then, we high five, give each other hugs, and then we go about our ways.
Got it.
It's fun. We call it the happy hour class because it's at 6 p.m. on Friday.
Right.
And you come at 6 to 7:30 p.m. And while you could be doing all kinds of other crazy things in Miami for a happy hour,
Yeah.
you come here, take care of yourself, you finish that week. I don't know what happened to you during the week, but it'll make
That's
you
true.
forget all of that.
That's true.
And then you're starting the weekend in a very powerful and healthy way. And then you're not coming from like a tired, beat down week, and then all you want to do is just get drunk and
Right.
get fed and go to sleep.
It's a great way to rejuvenate after.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it just reloads you so that you can actually enjoy your weekend.
Right.
Most
Makes
people
sense.
just get worn out during the week, and then the weekend is just to recover. I'm like, dude, you have 2 days, have fun.
Right.
So we do this Friday class very specifically with that intention.
Got it.
And then the Monday morning class, which is at 7:30 a.m.
Right.
and the Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. Those are more about getting the right mindset and getting some performance out of your week so that you can go to work and really crush it, so that then you can be effective and then you can have a life.
Got it.
Most people just spend too much time working because they're not effective at it.
Yeah.
This helps you with it.
Makes total sense. So why overall? Why do you do what you do? What inspires you? Like why do you do all these classes? You're here at 7:30 in the morning. Like
why do I do?
Like,
why
what
do I
motivates
teach?
you?
Or
Yeah,
why do I
teach?
practice?
Why do you teach really? Why do you teach? Why do you continue to host these classes? And I mean, 4,000 people is a lot. You know, so
Man, I mean, I love teaching. I love teaching. I love explaining. I love explaining things in simple terms. For me, in my passion of teaching martial arts, teaching meditation, I like demystifying all of those things because I feel that the more romantic and mystic and mysterious we make them, the more we turn people off. Sometimes some people like it, but a lot of people are like, that's too weird, I don't want to do it.
got it.
I enjoy the process of seeing something, understanding how it works, and then trying to explain it in a way that will be fun and easy to understand to anyone. And that it may come from the fact that I studied engineering and I'm an engineer, so I like deconstructing concepts and making them work better, right? And I love people. I love people, and I love how people think and the different challenges that they bring and how they process information. I love when people get upset. I love when people get happy. I love when people laugh. I love when people cry because I want to understand how all of that how that happens. And teaching puts you in a very privileged place to do that. The reason why I teach Wim Hof is because, well, first of all, I personally made a big difference for me in my life because it took everything that I was doing just really to the next level. And I know that that's kind of like a cliche thing to say, it took it to the next level, but honestly, it brought me to a level of awareness that I had not been able to achieve after decades of meditation, martial arts, yoga.
Wow.
So it's something so simple and something so seemingly external just connected everything together for me and made me appreciate everything so much more. So for me, it had a profound effect in my life. I was blessed to not have any conditions that needed the Wim Hof to recover a sickness or an illness, like a lot of people get in it. And I was very happy with my level of performance, so I didn't even need it for that.
Right.
I just wanted to get in it because my friend told me, you're gonna love teaching this. And also, man, I love teaching everything that I teach, but I know that right now, in the weird situation that we're in, people need simple, effective, easy to access tools to get control of their lives back. And for me right now, it's if I am one of 3 people that can do this in our area, it's almost a responsibility.
Got it.
But for me, it's fun, so
Good.
I don't care.
A good way to have fun and be fulfilled and serve people at the same time.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Appreciate it.
So what does the future look like? Like, do you have anything big
The
you're working
future,
on?
okay, there's gonna be flying cars.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Are there some around?
Are there?
I think
No,
so.
but they're coming soon.
Okay, for sure. I believe it. No, but like any projects you're working on, something you're excited about, like what's your vision? I mean, you just served 4,000 people. I mean, how many,
Yeah.
you're gonna add some more zeros to that?
I mean, yes, I'm definitely going to keep teaching. You know, I love teaching. I want to keep growing the ice club. I have a lot of requests for starting other Miami ice clubs in other places.
Oh, wow.
So that's super fun.
That's great.
Of course, it always kind of depends on having certified teachers to do it. So that's a little bit of a bottleneck for us, but we're working to get that done. I have other personal projects. I have my integrated living project. We are working on a big retreat center for that, and this is one of the big practices that are going to be in it.
Wow.
Called Six Fields. It's the integrative living headquarters. So that's super fun. We have our Budokan headquarters in Montana, so we're really supporting also that effort too. So there's a lot of that. But honestly, for me, when you ask me what does the future look like, I honestly can't wait to get back to normal, man.
Yeah.
For people to be able to get all the stress out of their minds. And just right now, for me, my efforts are hyper local. Where I used to tour, I used to travel the world and teach a lot. Right now, I'm focusing all my teaching efforts in our area.
Makes sense.
Because it's the only way that I can control it. I've had so many events get canceled or get postponed or all of that. And in the meantime, I wasn't serving our area that is always ready to go.
Right.
So I'm focusing all my efforts here.
Love it.
And continuing to support people in their development of their own personal practice with this. Until travel starts opening back up and we can start doing more of that to start bringing the work to other places. But there's so many people now that are Wim Hof instructors that are excellent. that I don't feel like I have to travel so much to fill in gaps where I have other students from the past, and because there's just so many great people. So for me right now is the short term is let's just keep the Miami Ice Club growing. Let's get as many people here in Miami exposed to the cold, because we just don't have it. Right. So that's what's interesting is here I not only have to bring the information, I also have to bring the cold.
Yeah.
So that keeps my hands full, man. Honestly. So.
Well, you're an inspiration. You're a true leader. You're making a huge difference. We appreciate you very much.
I appreciate that.
How can the audience find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram. You can go to Miami Ice Club. Yes, this way too. We can go to Miami Ice Club on Instagram, or you can find me, Donato Helbling, on Instagram. You're gonna try to talk to me on Instagram. I don't do that. I don't talk back on Instagram. So what you gotta do, if you want to contact me, you can send me an email. My contact is also there. I check my emails sometimes. But you can come to class. That is the best way. Like any question that you may have for me will probably be answered in class. So go to miamiiceclub.com. Come to the 2-class intro course on Friday afternoon. Spend some time with us. And in person, I'll give you all my time. So that you can come, we can become friends, we can train together. It's gonna be great. You know how hard it is to find me?
Yes.
Unless you show up, I'm 100%. I mean, what is it? What, 3 hours after the workshop, and we're still here hanging out. So in person, I'll give you all my time. Awesome. So you can kind of follow me there and find some basic information. But if you really want to get into what we do, show up to class.
Absolutely.
Do yourself the treat.
Absolutely, highly recommend it.
You're rock, brother. Thank you for this.
Always a pleasure, man.
Always good to see you, man. Thank you.
Buddy.
You're rock.
Bye.
Cool. Excellent.